All right, so good evening, and I'd like to welcome everybody to the 21st meeting of the 13th elected Town Council of Happy Valley Goose Bay. And I would need a motion for the town clerk position. Councillor Broomfield, or sorry, Councillor Broomfield.
Okay, good evening all. Our regular town clerk is on holiday, so we have to appoint an acting town clerk for this meeting. So I move that we appoint our executive assistant, Kathy, as the acting town clerk for this council meeting.
All right, so moved by Councillor Broomfield that we appoint Ms. Eddy as the town clerk for tonight. Seconded by Councillor Winners. Any discussion? All those in favor indicate with aye.
Aye.
Contrary-minded? Motion is passed. All right, so I'd just like to send a couple of welcomes this evening in our council chambers. We've been joined by our new community development officer and Mr. Greg Osmond. So we're really excited to have him on board and look forward to keeping him busy. And we're also joined this evening by our MHA, Perry Trimper. Welcome to you. And we do have some other folks in the viewing area this evening. All right, so with that, there are no delegations for the council meeting, so I will will entertain a motion to adopt the agenda as presented. Moved by Councillor Rumboat, seconded by Deputy Mayor Wallace. Any additions, discussion on the agenda? All right, none being heard, I will call for the vote. All those in favor indicate with aye. Aye. Contrary-minded? All right, motion's passed. We've adopted the agenda. All right, so we do have two sets of minutes that we have to adopt from meetings that we did have. We had a special meeting on June 23rd. So we've had the minutes presented to us in our council packages. So can I get a motion to accept the minutes as presented for the 19th council meeting? Moved by Deputy Mayor Wallace, seconded by Councillor Bennett. Discussion? All those in favor indicate with aye.
Aye.
Contrary-minded? All right, motion passed. We've accepted the minutes for the 19th meeting on June 23rd. If we look now to the council package, we had an additional meeting, the 20th meeting, on July the 18th. The minutes have been presented to us. I accept a motion to accept the minutes as presented. Moved by Councillor Rumbold, seconded by Deputy Mayor Wallace. Discussion? Okay, none heard. All those in favor indicate with aye. Aye. Contrary-minded? Motion is passed. So we've accepted the two previous minutes. All right, correspondence. The only correspondence I see that was in our package was a letter that was delivered to us from Mr. Blake. And it's a letter encouraging folks to respect the flags that fly in front of buildings, including the Canadian, the provincial, British if it's there, and as well the Labrador flag. So that was that letter. And that was the only correspondence I have. Do you have any other correspondence? That's the only one, right?
There is an additional letter there from Julie. Sent out by email regarding closing the register.
Okay, all right. So we do have an additional letter from the chamber that was there, and that'll be included in the minutes of this meeting. All right, so we'll move into our committee reports and any recommendations. So I'll pass the floor to Deputy Mayor Wallace for Community Planning and Development.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. Community Planning and Development Committee met on Wednesday, July 13th at 3 p.m. In attendance was Councillor Broomfield, CAO Nadine McCauley, Engineer Randy Dillon, Engineer Tech Mark Urquhart, Executive Assistant Kathy Eddy, and myself. Regrets from Councillor Duffett. Meeting was called to order at 3:32. The previous agenda was accepted with no errors or omissions. Prior to the meeting being called to the order, the CPD committee met with a delegate who was at our committee meeting, Ed Sampson. So we had discussions with him prior to the agenda being accepted. Discussion around the necessary recruitment of a community development and research manager was discussed, and the recruitment process for this position had commenced, and I'm happy again to announce Mr. Greg Osmond in that role here at the town of Happy Valley Goose Bay. Again, welcome. Monthly permit report, the permit report was presented by Engineering Tech Mark Urquhart. We discussed new Crown land applications, deferred Crown land applications, and discretionary land use applications from the agenda. We again encourage all to follow correct protocol and have the necessary applicable applications submitted to prevent a stop work order. This applies to all home-based businesses as well as commercial businesses. A letter was enclosed from NL Hydro regarding their application for written consent to remove from service transmission line L1301 in Labrador pursuant to Section 38 of the Public Utilities Act. The committee agreed that the town has no objections to the request and the CEO will prepare a letter of response. There being no further business, the Community Planning and Development Committee was adjourned at 4:39 p.m. and the next meeting will be held on September 14th at 3 p.m. We have both Crown land use and discretionary land use recommendations to follow. Please accept the CPD committee report as having been read.
All right, so it's moved by Deputy Mayor Wallace that we accept the CPD committee report as presented, seconded by Councillor Bennett. Any discussion? None heard? I'll move for a motion to accept and a vote. All those in favor indicate with aye. Aye. Contrary minded? All right, motion is passed. All right, proceed to recommendations from the Community Planning and Development Committee.
Great, thank you. 72459 Hannah Coles. The CPD committee recommends council have no objection for the town of Happy Valley Goose Bay application 72459 for the Crown land application with the following condition: compliance with all the town's development regulations.
Okay, moved by Deputy Mayor Wallace that we recommend that we have no objection to Crown lands for the application number 72459. Seconded by Councillor Winners. Discussion. All right, none heard. All those in favor indicate with aye. Aye. Contrary minded? Okay, recommendation is passed. Next recommendation, please.
Thank you. Moving on, 6 Grenfell Street, the Labrador Friendship Center, Plex Housing, 5.6.10.1. The CPD committee recommends council deny the application based on the council's discretion, as well as feedback from surrounding neighbors.
All right, so it's moved by Deputy Mayor Wallace that we deny application for the Friendship Center's Plex Housing at 6 Grenfell Street. Seconded by? Seconded by Councillor Broomfield. Discussion. I think it's important to note here that the application originally came in as a three-unit building, and as with input from surrounding community neighbors, it was decided to deny that. An acceptable use is a duplex, and if so, it fits the plans of the proponent, and they can proceed with that duplex, but not a triplex. All right, so, sorry? Good, okay. All those in favor of denying indicate with aye. Aye. Contrary minded? Motion is denied. Next recommendation, please.
Thank you. 2 Chalk Street, Sassy and Classy. It's a home-based business. The CPD committee recommends council approve the application from Chelsea Gainey for a home-based business located at 2 Chalk Street with the following conditions. A fire and life safety inspection as per NFPA 101 be satisfactorily completed at the applicant's cost. B, applicant provides an application for a business registration, change of use at the applicant's cost. C, compliance with all the town's development regulations with special reference to section 6.3, business in a residential land use class. And D, applicant obtains all required approvals from Service NL or any government agencies having jurisdiction.
Okay, it's been moved by Deputy Mayor Wallace and the committee to recommend approving the application for a home-based business at 2 Chalk Street. Seconded by Councillor Broomfield. Discussion? Yep, Councillor Broomfield.
Okay, I'm on this, I sit on this committee as well, because there's another application that we are looking at, and looked at a few actually since I've been here and even before we've been here. One thing I really are just starting to realize now, what we've been overlooking or missed, is that we're not indicating, this is someone coming for a home-based business, but we're not indicating that if they move, what happens to their application or their license.
Yeah, it's an important point.
We're approving this application on their current address, right?
You're right, based on the address that's
Yes.
on the application when they apply.
So we should look into that to see. I would suggest that the application is given for an address and a type of business. And if that were to change, whether the address changes or the person changes, I would assume that approval would no longer be the case. But we'll definitely look into that. So can we note that we'll look in to get that question answered? All right. Any further discussion? All right, none being heard. All those in favor indicate with aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? All right, motion is passed. Next recommendation, please.
Thank you. 20 to 26, Toronto, Bergo, Data Center 5.3.17. The CPD Committee recommends Council deny the application from Bergo for a data center located at 20 to 26 Toronto Avenue.
Okay, it's been moved by Deputy Mayor Wallace and committee that we deny the application for a data center located at 20 to 26 Toronto Avenue. Seconded by Councillor Rumbold. Discussion? Okay, I think it's important here as well to note that right now, like I say, we've had some serious discussion in terms of how we want to proceed with the quote-unquote data center or bit mining or however we want to define the properties. And I think Council is, it's important to us from the discussions that we've had that we want to maximize the amount of power that's left on the Labrador interconnected grid to make sure that we have sustainable and development in town that makes a tangible difference, whether it be jobs or services, that kinds of stuff. So I think from that perspective, I agree wholeheartedly with denying this particular application and this type of business. Any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor with denying the application indicate with aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? The application is denied. Next recommendation, please.
The last and final we have at 9 Halifax Street, Data Center 5.3.17. The CPD Committee recommends Council deny the application.
Okay, it's moved by Deputy Mayor Wallace and the committee to deny the application for 9 Halifax Street for the purpose of data center. Seconded by Councillor Rumbold. Discussion? Councillor Rumbold.
Mayor, I will add just on to what you've said that Council did look at it very seriously, and we did our research, and just so that the people know, we did our homework to find out exactly if we were to approve what we were looking at in terms of the usage of energy, what that would mean to the future planning of the town. So I guess just important to note that it was something that we had to educate ourselves, and we had to learn a lot, and we had to reach out to resources and speak with the people who knew the technical side of it. So we didn't make any decisions lightly, and it's not just a blanket we don't want. It was a making sure that the direction that we take is a smart one for all residents of the community. So yeah, definitely think that it's worth noting that it was well researched.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Rumbold. Anybody else? All right, nothing else heard from discussion perspective. All those in favor of denying the application for a data center at 9 Halifax Street indicate with aye. Aye. Contrary minded? Motion is denied. All right, that's it for your committee?
It is, thank you.
All right. Okay, so let's move into Community Services and Recreation Committee, and I'll turn the floor to Councillor Winners.
Thank you, Mayor. Our meeting took place on July 11th, 2022, called to order at 4:35. In attendance, Committee Chair Councillor Winners, Deputy Mayor Wallace, CAO Nadine McCauley, regrets from Councillor Duffett, and CSR Director Travis Ford. We reviewed the previous minutes. There were no errors or omissions. Discussion and new business. There was the Arthritis Awareness Week. Just let it be known that the town will be lit up blue on September 1st to recognize arthritis awareness. There was Healthy Waters correspondence concerning overnight campers, which we discussed in depth. And then there was also the condition of the Mealy Mutton soccer field. And that was kind of deferred because That is a part of a bigger plan that we plan on meeting later on in September regarding the entire complex and how we're going to be moving forward with that. There were no recommendations moving from this meeting. The manager's report was received and reviewed. The next meeting scheduled for September 12th at 4:30 and the meeting adjourned at 5:35. Please accept this report as presented.
Thank you, Councillor Winners. So it's been moved by Councillor Winners that we accept the Community Service and Recreation Report as presented. Seconded by Councillor Bennett. Any discussion? None heard? All right. All those in favor indicate with aye. Aye. Contrary-minded? Motion's passed. And your committee has no recommendations this time, right? All right. Okay, moving into the next committee report, pass the floor to Councillor Brumfield and Finance Admin and Policy Committee.
Thank you, Your Worship. The Financial Administration Policy Committee met on July the 18th at 4:30. Present was myself and the chair, Councillor Bennett and Councillor Rumble, and ex officio Mayor George Andrews. The staff were Chief Administrative Officer Dean McCauley, Director of Financial Operations Mike Dalmont, and Executive Assistant Kathy Eddy, and Superintendent of Assessment and Taxation Kelsey Campagna. We had presentation from 2 delegates. First one was from Gerald Saunders via telephone, and he's concerned that he lives up on Churchill Road, and he's concerned about the property tax being charged on his recreational property, and he has an issue with that. So we took his delegation, took his information, and we looked at it and let him do his spiel. And we told him we weren't getting back to him right away because we had to check with municipal assessment on other items as well. The second delegate was Lloyd Hillier, and he has an issue with high vacant property tax being charged on commercial property. He has 2 properties in different locations in town, which he amalgamated. So we are waiting basic response from the Municipal Assessment Agency on those 2 before we make anything concrete information on or recommendations that come with that. So that was our 2 delegates. Then we get into the regular meeting. It was called to order at 5:10. We reviewed the previous minutes. There was no errors or omissions. And then we moved into the new business. We reviewed a carryover from last month, which is the Amaret Golf and Golf Club, and we do have a recommendation there for them as well. We had a new application from Leopard Hunting and Fishing Association for an exemption request for property tax and business tax exemption request as well. And then we have a Habitat for Humanity request for a request for, again, property tax exemption and water and sewer tax exemption. And again, there's recommendations attached for both of them. We also have the other business. We discussed a wellness center temporary loan, basically, which we're now decided to repay based on the information provided to us. And then we reviewed the manager's department reports for the supervisor and assessment and taxation, Director of Financial Operations, and the Public Relations Special Events Coordinators. And we also reviewed the Central Labrador YMCA claim provided for the month. And then no issues with anything there, and the meeting was adjourned at 6:30 p.m. And the next meeting is scheduled for Monday, September the 18th at 4:30 p.m.
Okay, thank you. It's moved by Councillor Brumfield that we accept the Finance Administration and Policy Committee report as presented. Seconded by Councillor Bennett. Discussion? All right, none being heard. We do have some recommendations. So all those in favor indicate with aye. Aye. Contrary-minded? Okay, motion is passed. All right, recommendations from Finance and Admin Committee. Councillor Brumfield.
Oh, okay, thank you. Okay, as I indicated in the report, the Amaret Golf Club had 2 requests in there for exemptions. We checked around with other towns in the province and we decided, for the most part, went along with what they are doing. The first one is the Amaret Golf Club request for property tax exemption 079929. The FAP committee recommends that council deny the property tax exemption request for property tax and interest for 2021 and 2022.
All right, it's moved by Councillor Rumfield and the committee that we deny the request for property exemption 079929. Seconder? Seconded by Councillor Rumbold. Discussion.
Yeah, I like that.
Councillor Winners.
I think the Emmerich Golf Club deserves their to move these taxes. They provide such a great service to this community. They've come so far in the last 5 years. They are a non-profit, meaning that they have no other income other than membership. And all the work, if you've seen the work that they've done up there, basically built a brand new clubhouse, all the upgrades to the maintenance of the greens and the fairways, and it just keeps on growing. And that money doesn't come from the town. We're not getting them anything, basically, with regards to any help other than a tax exemption. They've rejuvenated the junior golf program, which had up to 50 to 60 kids this year. The people that they bring in from out of town for their various tournaments, such as the IDLP and the club championships and that stuff that come in, these are people that are renting our hotels and eating in our restaurants and basically buying crafts in our stores. So I think that we should really consider exempting them from any town tax for just basically on the services that they provide.
Okay. Thank you, Councillor Winners. Any further discussion? Deputy Mayor Wallace.
Thank you. I agree wholeheartedly with Councillor Winters. The not-for-profit, is it, I guess, a twofold question, I suppose. Not-for-profit within town, do we exempt any other not-for-profits? And has it changed from the past? How many times or how many years have the Amarok Golf Course been charged? And then if they haven't, is this the first year going forward? Or is 2021 the first year going forward? I think other than nonprofit for being taxed for what they do with the community and what the draw, the economic development, they all do it. The club does this without a huge surplus of money. They're basing it on memberships only, keeping it going.
Okay, thank you, Deputy Mayor Wallace. Any other discussion? Councillor Rumbold.
Thank you, Mayor. Just some slight insight into the discussion. So there is a second recommendation that you will see that follows this one. So I think it wasn't that we didn't agree that they need support, which is why the second recommendation will reflect that. It was more in line with, as far as have they been charged in the past, we asked those questions, and it's unfortunate that there were some things that I think were supposed to have been done and hadn't been done, and it kind of sets a precedence where people tend to be surprised when they were charged something because it was like it hadn't been done in the past. But I think it was a misinterpretation perhaps of the way the Municipalities Act reads and what needed to be charged. But we did feel when we discussed that we wanted to help, and like I say, the next recommendation should show some of that. It's just that we had to find a balance between real property owned and the property tax for the asset being adjudicated the same as we do with other not-for-profits. But the second recommendation, I hope, will demonstrate that we too did feel that this is a great service to the community and that there needed to be something to their benefit.
Thank you, Councillor Rumbold. Anybody else? Yeah, so in the discussions, I think that the charging not-for-profits is something that's newer, and it came about as, I guess, in terms of the property tax side of things. And upon looking to some of the other communities, it's difficult. Some golf courses aren't located within the communities. Some golf courses, I think in Ganders, is actually owned by the community, the land and stuff like that. So it's a difficult thing. I think that it's something definitely that we can look at from a budget perspective. And I think what we've been doing now so far is dealing with these types of issues from a case by case as they come forward. But I have no problem with supporting any group in town, because as Councillor Winners has mentioned, it is a stream of economic development. We do see the benefit, but on the other side, we also, just can't, we have to have some sort of, way that we're going to deal with everybody. And I think that the way that this has happened, as you'll see with the next recommendation, is that potentially one side of for owning property is not being helped with, but the actual business activity will potentially be, will help that way. So, any other discussion? All right, so we'll call for a vote on this one. So, the committee, the property tax exemption. So all those in support of denying the property tax exemption for number 079929 for the Amaret Golf Club, please indicate with aye. Aye. Contrary-minded? Okay. The denial is passed. But I would suggest too that, from a budget perspective, as we go in a new budget, that these types of things can be looked at. So, all right, next recommendation, sir. Councillor
Okay, again, going back to the Amaret Golf Club, because we broke it down into two separate ones. First one we denied, and the next one's coming up. Okay, the Amaret Golf Club requests for business tax exemption 0799290001. The FAP committee recommends that council approve the business tax exemption request for business taxes and interest for 2021 and 2022 as outlined above. Now, I would like to remind everyone that...
No, we'll deal with the motion. You can talk the discussion. So the motion's done? Good?
Yeah.
All right, so it's moved by Councillor Brumfield that we approve the business tax exemption for the Amaret Golf Club, number 0799290001. Seconded by Councillor Rumbold. Now discussion.
Okay. I'd like to point out in 2021 is the first year that the previous council started taxing business taxes on not-for-profit organizations, sports organizations. So that's why now you'll see there's a few requests for exemptions for both of those, property tax and business tax, coming throughout here as well. That's the reason why.
Yeah, and thank you. Further discussion?
I think that's the issue here.
Deputy Mayor
I think,
Wallace.
thanks for mentioning that, but you're right, 2021, now 2022, they're going to see and have not budgeted for these amounts coming into the organizations like the previous Amaret Golf Club we were discussing before, and ones coming further. I just think it's a huge hit in the budget for these not-for-profits to all of a sudden be charged. And the business tax, of course, we're going forward on this one, but the property tax as well.
Yeah,
Shame.
I don't think it should be any surprise because this has been going on from a property tax perspective. The business tax is another issue, and they have been. But I think there was some issue around COVID where they didn't get a chance to come in and put the exemption in because the exemptions are supposed to be put in per year. So I think from that perspective, like they knew, I think the group was aware that it was there. It was just they were trying to come in to get it removed, I guess, or get some help with it in terms, but then COVID kicked in and stuff. So, but yeah, I think as Councillor Brumfield has said, this is a new thing that came up with the previous council and the rationale behind that, and that we really, we can revisit that from a budget perspective. So, any further discussion? All right, so we will be going to vote on this one, and so all those in favor, and trying to make sure the wording is good here, all those in favor of approving the business tax exemption for the Amaret Golf Club for 21-22 and the interest indicate with aye.
Aye.
Contrary-minded? Motion is passed. All right, next recommendation. Councillor
Okay, the
Brumfield.
next two are pretty much the same as what we've done with the Amaret Golf Club. The Labrador Hunting and Fishing Association, 275895. The FAP committee recommends that council deny the request for property tax exemption.
Okay, it's moved by Councillor Brumfield and the committee that we deny the request for property exemption for count number 275895 and Labrador Hunting and Fishing Association. Seconded by Councillor Rumbold. Discussion. So yeah, so as you can see, I think we've looked at one perspective of continuing with the property tax for the real property side of stuff, and we'll continue with the next side of things with business tax. Any further discussion?
Yeah, with regards to this, I'm still on the mind of, we're hindering these nonprofits who are doing so much for our communities, and I'll just vote the way I do, based on the same as previous.
All right, further discussion? All right, so going to vote here now that all those in favor of denying the request for property tax exemption indicate with aye. Aye. Contrary-minded? Motion's passed. All right, next recommendation, please.
Okay, next one, the Labrador Hunting and Fishing Association, 275-895-0001. The FAP committee recommends that council approve the request for business tax exemption.
All right, so it's been moved by Councillor Brumfield and committee that we approve the request for business tax exemption for the Labrador Hunting and Fishing at number 275-895-001. Seconded by Councillor Rumbold. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor of approving indicate with aye. Aye. Contrary-minded? Motion's passed. Next item, please.
Okay, the next item, property tax and water and sewer tax exemption request from the Habitat for Humanity. That's what it should say. Request and 274026. The FAP committee recommends council deny the request for exemption of property tax and water and sewer tax based on expenses already incurred by the town as an in-kind contribution for this property.
All right, it's been moved by Councillor Brumfield and committee that we deny the request for the exemption of property tax and water and sewer tax for the Habitat for Humanity and account number 274026. Seconded by? Okay, seconded by Councillor Rumbold. Discussion? Councillor Brumfield.
I'd like to point out that what we did in kind is we donated them land on White Crescent. We did some work for them, that's the in-kind work, and that's basically, which was a substantial contribution when we add up what we actually did for them.
Thank you. Further discussion?
So that land they have is donated?
Councillor Winners.
Right,
Yep.
thanks.
Yeah, it was a considerable amount of money. We were told that we, as a community, contributed as a partner with the Habitat for Humanity bill. So. And one of the things, too, is I think it's important that every piece of real property, for the most part, within town, there's a street, there's a road, there's a sidewalk. In some instances, there is some kind of work that we have to do. So it's difficult to I guess, exempt everybody from, or everything from property tax. I would much prefer to look at, from a budget perspective, that we contribute to some of these organizations through our donation policy, you know, instead of looking at maybe travel and things like that as a donation. We look at providing some assistance to these groups that do, you know, whether it's through tournaments or through just enjoyment. It makes wellness of the community better, you know, that we have different services. So that would be my my take on it. Any further discussion? All right, so we approve that one. The next recommendation, please.
The Wellness Center revenue.
We didn't vote
We
on
didn't.
it.
Oh, we didn't vote? Okay, sorry. My fault. Okay, all those in favor of denying the request for the account number 2740026 and the Habitat Humanities property tax, water and sewer tax, indicate with aye. Aye. Contrary-minded? Now we have voted. That is passed. All right, next recommendation, sir.
Well, the next one is the Labrador Hunting and Fishing Association, 275-895-0001.
Sorry, letter F, I think. We did that one. Letter F, right on the bottom. Yep,
We did
wellness
both
center.
of them?
Yep.
Okay. The Wellness Center revenue. The FAP committee recommends council pay loan number 077-86528-070 with the Royal Bank of Canada that was taken out in August 2021 for the construction of the Central Labrador YMCA.
All right, it's moved by committee and our Councillor Brumfield and committee that we pay out the loan 077-86528-070 with the Royal Bank, and it was part of the construction for the YMCA. Seconded by Councillor Rumbold. Any discussion? Councillor Brumfield.
Okay, I'd like to point out where this money is coming from to pay this off is the contribution campaign that previous council undertook. There's X numbers of dollars in there, and there's basically so much on receivables and that. So this is where this money's come from, to pay off that amount there.
Any further discussion? Thank you, Councillor Brumfield. Any further discussion? And I think he's correct. The capital campaign had a $5 million goal. I think they reached around the $2 million mark. So there was 2 loans taken out for the project, and to pay back our portion, that's where that money is coming from. And I think it's in the vicinity of 600,000, somewhere in that vicinity. But so that will come from that. Councillor Rumbold.
Just worth noting, Mayor, that the decision to pay the loan balance out as well, we had to factor in the volatility in interest rates right now. So it was just a smart decision to, because we were financially in a position to be able to do it, not to leave it in a fluctuating market.
Yeah, and it was a variable rate, and our other loan for the actual construction is fixed. So this was variable. So yeah, as we all see, interest rates are going a little wonky these days. So, all right. So all those in favour to pay out the loan indicate with aye. Aye. Contrary minded. Okay, motion is passed. All right. We move now into Municipal Services and Councillor Bennett.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Municipal Services Committee met Tuesday, July the 12th, 4:30 p.m. Present were Councillor Denise Rumbold, Mayor George Andrews, CAO Nadine McCauley, Superintendent Public Works DJ Elliott, Superintendent of Work Services Keith Pye, Water and Sewer, Engineer Randy Dillon, Executive Assistant Kathy Eddy, and myself. Regrets from Todd Winters. Meeting was called to order at 4:34 p.m. Previous minutes and action items, there are no errors or omissions. Managers' reports are included and they have been discussed. Discussion, new business. Roads, Mayor noted several areas in town where signs were missing or knocked down. Also several areas needed brush cutting have been identified, including the RV dumping station. CAO also noted that there needs to be a standard height and distance for signage. Superintendent of Public Works added to work plan. Tender results for the town depot closed yesterday with 1 bidder, looking for a 30-month tender. That would be it. We have one recommendation, Mr. Mayor. I think I'm moving a bit fast here. The date of the next meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, September the 13th, 4:30 p.m. And we were adjourned at 6:30 p.m. with one recommendation, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Bennett. It's been moved by Councillor Bennett that we accept the Municipal Services report as presented, seconded by Councillor Brumfield. Discussion. Councillor Rumbold.
Just wanted to mention, Mayor, that meeting, Councillor Bennett said that DJ Elliott was in attendance, Superintendent of Public Works, and DJ has moved on, and that was his last meeting with us. So just wanted to take the opportunity in this meeting to publicly thank DJ for his service and his time with the town, and to advise residents that that is, I got to look over at Kathy, has it closed? It's okay.
Yep.
So that position was advertised, and so we look forward to moving on with a new hire, but just to say thank you to DJ at this time.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and I think we did. They had a breakfast for him. I didn't make the breakfast, but I did come in later that day, and he was still at the desk at like 10 to 4 going through, and I said, "Aren't you done today?" And he did say so. No, we'd like to reach out and say thank you as well to him for his efforts, and we look forward to hopefully having that position filled very soon. All right, so it's any further discussion? All those in favour of accepting Councillor Bennett and his committee's report as presented indicate with aye.
Aye.
Aye. Contrary minded? All right, so we've accepted municipal services. You have one recommendation, sir? Floor is yours. Councillor Bennett.
One recommendation, policy PW0023, town landfill site. The Municipal Services Committee recommends council approve policy PW0023, town landfill site, with amendments as enclosed in council's package.
All right, so it's moved that we accept new policy PW0023 in reference to our town landfill site. Seconded by Councillor Broomfield. Any discussion? Councillor Broomfield.
I have a question on the closing the dump on Mondays. We are now charging tipping fees, and what happens if a business shows up on a Monday with a load that really should be tipping fees charged? I'm going to tell you, based on my experience, when we've had holidays at the dump on a Monday, you know what they used to do? They dump it right there in front of the gates. And I suspect that's what's going to start happening here on a Monday. If they got a full load, they're not going to turn around, walk away, go back without dumping right there. That's what they used to do before.
Any further discussion? Councillor or Deputy Mayor Wallace?
I think with enough communication and enough forward warning to all the business community and to anybody in town, that we would prevent that by just advising them that it is shut on Monday and you come on Tuesday. Wouldn't you think?
Yeah, I think, well, personally speaking, it's a change. The change, according to some contractors that I have that spoke to me, it's a bit of an adjustment for them for sure. I don't know, like I say, consultation-wise, I would have hoped we would have had that constant conversations with our contractors previous to. That being said, I did have a call from somebody yesterday morning and asked me about tires. They had a load of tires that they needed to bring to the dump, and I said, well, I didn't think we accepted tires for starters at the dump unless they're regular motor vehicle tires, yes, but if they were heavy equipment or tractor or like trailer tires and that stuff, we didn't. And it was at the same time, Rogers Recycling isn't open on Mondays as well, so he said, what do I do with them? And I said, well, I will wait to Tuesday and talk to Rogers, because they're the reception point for tires if they were regular tires. So the information is, still not out there, so maybe what we could do is another blitz through our PSAs, just to remind folks. In the event that people do illegally dump, which we hope they won't, or use other means or places to dump, we have our municipal enforcement officer that I'm sure will deal with that. But I mean, I would hope that someone who's going to go to the dump on Monday with a full load of stuff, if they get there, the big sign on the road says closed, I would hope they turn around and come back on Tuesday. But that's just thinking. Councillor Bennett?
You ready? Two
Yes.
things. I talked to a number of the contractors on a pretty regular basis, and they're getting used to the fact that they got to do things differently. Tires, I do believe we made recommendations to make contact with the MMSB with regard to the discrepancies in their planning of the tire situation. It's been going on for years, for a long time. I know that. You're allowed to take this, but you're not allowed to take that. So I guess we'll find out when we get a little bit of feedback from them. It wouldn't hurt actually to have a meeting online, or however that goes, with them to figure out where the thought process was to when you're not allowed to take a motorcycle tire, but you're, whatever, and all that. It just don't make no sense. So anyway, we're gonna figure it all out.
Yes, it's not like we're recycling tires, so tires are being piled or done something with them. So, yeah, that's an interesting one, and that's probably a good idea. Maybe we should have we reach out to MMSB in early fall.
Yeah, that's already done.
Okay, good, excellent. Any other discussion? All right. So all those in favor of accepting the new policy for the town landfill site, indicate with aye. Aye. Contrary-minded?
Nay.
Okay. One contrary-minded, and the motion is passed. So can we make sure that does go out again? I'm not. I know it was there before, but all right. And if anybody has any questions in terms of that, I'm assuming our website will be updated with the new policy very quickly. Or feel free to call and talk to someone at the town hall. All right, we're going to go into protective services, and I do believe pass the floor to Councillor Broomfield, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Councillor
Thank you
Broomfield.
again, Your
Yep.
Worship. Okay, for this month, I'm filling in for the Chair of the Protective Services, who is Councillor Duffett. So present was myself, Acting Chair, Councillor Winters, ex officio Mayor George Andrews. The staff was CAO Nadine McCauley, Director of Public Services Brad Butler, Executive Assistant Kathy Eddy, and the MEO Constable Larry Baker, and regrets from Chair Councillor Duffett. The meeting was called to order at 12:10 p.m. We reviewed the previous minutes, so there's no errors or omissions, so everything was approved there. We reviewed the RCMP monthly report, and then we reviewed the manager's reports, who gave us a review of their own. The fire hall, to date, they had 83 calls, emergency calls attended to. The equipment inspections are ongoing and hope to have our own training site on the north side for firefighting. The enforcement was reviewed, the highlights: 241 service calls, 454 intoxicated persons, and the bike rodeo will not happen in July, and there was issues around speed bumps being put around town. The new business we did looked at amending traffic regulations to address motorized scooter concerns, dispose of illegal campsites, and Healthy Waters Labrador correspondence with their sign for no overnight parking down on the Birch Island Road there. Security company additional MEO and require all councillors discussion. And under that, there is a resolution coming forward, but I'll go into that when we do the resolution. So the meeting was adjourned at 1:30 p.m. and the next meeting is scheduled for Monday, September 22nd.
All right, thank you, Councillor Broomfield. So it's been moved by Councillor Broomfield, we accept the Protective Services Committee as presented. Seconded by Councillor Winners. Discussion.
Yeah, I'd just like to bring up the motorized scooters. They are getting a little bit out of hand. We did discuss it with MEO Larry Baker, and he's going to be presenting some recommendations in September after he has a detailed look at what we can do as a municipality, because as was stated, there are no regulations with regards to motorized scooters. And like I say, you see in the discussion, they can travel up to 35 kilometers an hour, sorry. Kids are going around without helmets, weaving in into traffic, and I think it is becoming a problem that our MEO is going to be making recommendations on.
It's good to hear. Any further discussion? I'd just like to bring up the speed hump thing. I've been inundated over the last week, 2 weeks probably. Everybody wants speed humps. We don't have any more speed humps to put out. We have asked that there be a policy in terms of how and if and when speed humps are used, so we can look next year. Seems some area of town has some area of town that don't. Everybody feels that they need it, but the magic answer here is every single person who drives a car, slow down. There's no need to be going through, whether it be Pleasant Street, Palliser Street, wherever, at 60 or 80 kilometers an hour. Slow down. We won't need speed humps. We won't need to tear up our pavement. Stop means stop. Speed hump only stops you for that brief second. But yeah, for the love of God, before somebody gets hurt, just slow down. That's my speed hump rant. Any other further discussion? All right, so all those in favor of accepting the report as presented, please indicate with aye. Aye. Contrary-minded. Okay, we've accepted the report. You have one recommendation from your committee, sir?
Okay, yes, Security Services. The Protective Services Committee recommends council retain Shanahan's investigations on a temporary basis at a cost of $20,232.38 a month, based on 30 days with one officer and one vehicle.
So it's been moved by Councillor Broomfield and the committee that we retain Shanahan's investigations on a temporary basis to provide one officer with one vehicle. Seconded by? Seconded by Councillor Winners. Any discussion? Councillor Broomfield.
I'd just like to point out on this one here that there was tenders put out or RFPs. We did only hear from two security companies, and the other one we found out only backed out at the last moment last week. But we're good with what we have, because that's who we were recommending in the first place.
I also want to note that we had approached the Premier and the government who helped us out, right away with providing us money. For originally it was to look at bringing in some municipal enforcement officers, 2 additional municipal enforcement officers for a short time. Unfortunately, because one thing or another, the opportunity that we thought we had didn't happen. So we started to look. We even had some former Royal Newfoundland Constabulary officers who were retired. That didn't work out. So we were left in a situation. I know some members of the Chamber and local business community met with Minister Dempster and a group from, and I think the MHA was at that meeting as well. And they wished that we would bring back the security services. There was some, I guess, not total understanding in terms of what the role would be, but we felt around the table that it might have been more effective to have someone who can actually interact as opposed to just report, observe and report. So anyway, between it all, we went back to the Minister, Minister Howell, and she allowed us to reprofile the money, and we've been able to look at providing an option of a security service for a short period of time while we continue to look at hiring a municipal enforcement officer. And it's not that easy, so if anybody knows an enforcement person who happens to be kicking around looking for something to do, please put them in contact with the town management. So we'll do this, and the cost is considerably cheaper. The reason it hasn't been done quicker is we asked the companies when they could actually mobilize, and this company, being the only one left in the bid, the earliest that they could mobilize was August 1st. So hopefully within a few days, they'll be working with our MEO and town staff to get up and running. So we should be able to have that going. But it is again funded through the province. So that's good news. It won't come out of the taxpayers of the community, but help from the province and through municipal affairs. Any further discussion? Yes, Councillor Duffett.
I have a question.
Yep.
You say the security company will be able to interact.
No, they won't be able to
They won't be
interact.
able to
There was an impression around the table of the meeting that was held. I wasn't invited to the meeting, so I was told that what I think some people were mentioning is that they may be able to, tap someone on the shoulder and say, "Hey, move along." That's not the role. The role is simply to observe and report. I think the preference to our original conversation was that we would prefer to have like an MEO or somebody who could interact with those folks. But unfortunately, so the security company will only be a observe and report, and they'll report through our dispatch, which will directly link to our municipal enforcement action.
Yeah, I'd just like to reiterate that,
Councillor Winners? You good? Councillor Winners?
reiterate that it's not the ideal situation. We didn't want to go to security companies because of that reasoning, but right now with the lack of MELs available, we have no other choice, but we have to do something.
Yeah, I agree. Did that answer did you have another comment or?
No. Thank you.
Okay. Any other further discussion? All right, so it's on the table that we recommend to retain Shanahan's Investigative Services. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor indicate with aye. Aye. Contrary-minded? Okay, motion is passed. So now I assume, looking at our acting CAO, who's not looking at me, we'll work with Councillor Baker now to get those guys mobilized, as I think August 1st was their date. All right, we'll go to the next item now, which is the approval. Agenda here somewhere. There we go. All right, so approval of checks. And Councillor Broomfield.
Okay, thank you, Your Worship. I move that we approve the checks totaling $839,584.83 for the month as of July 26, 2022.
All right, it's, okay, I got July 22nd. Do you want to?
No, that's July 2022, I think.
Oh, okay, all right. All right, my mistake. All right, so it's been moved by Councillor Broomfield to accept approved checks in the amount of $839,584.83 Seconded by? Somebody's got a second, or we don't spend any money. Okay, seconded by Councillor Rumble. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor indicate with aye. Contrary-minded? We've accepted the approval of checks. All right, Councillors Forum. Where do I go tonight? Councillor Duffett, your turn.
I'm all good, thank you.
Okay, thanks. Councillor Brumfield, I'm going crisscross here today.
Okay, thank you, Your Worship. I'm just going to be short and sweet this evening. First of all, I'd like to point out, I'd like to see some summer here. Almost the end of July, I know summer weather, not good.
Do you have a recommendation?
Yeah. Anyway, this Saturday's coming up, the Queen of Peace,
I know.
or Lady Queen of Peace High School, it used to be called, are now having a reunion, or it's not can't be their 50th year, is it?
No, I
just
think it's
every
just-
all classes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just an all class.
Their reunion this Saturday, so I'd like to just point that out and invite everybody out to join them at the arena. And really, other than that, that's all I really have for this month.
All right, sir, thank you. Councillor Bennett.
Well, just a couple of things. There's a flip side to the rain, which is pretty depressing at times, but I'm talking to a fair number of people, and their gardens are blossoming big time, and they're getting opportunity to share, so that's good. And not related to the rain, but there's lots of fish on the go too, and people are sharing that, so that's good. It's all good.
Sharing is always good.
Sharing is good.
And the other upside, of course, there's no fires. So, that it for you,
I'm
sir?
done.
All right,
Thank you.
Councillor Winners.
Yeah, I'd just like to acknowledge DJ Elliott again, as Councillor Rumble said earlier. Great guy to work with, and just hope the best for him in the future. And the other thing is, I'm hearing a few concerns that people are swimming along the riverbank out by the, on the edge of the boardwalk. And just like to reiterate that that is not a place to swim whatsoever. I don't know how many people died in that river because it is unsafe, very unsafe. So if you see somebody down there that's in the water, please tell them it's not safe and to get out, because there's nothing we can do with regards to people wanting to get in the water. But it just shouldn't be happening.
Absolutely. Okay, so, and hopefully, yeah, if you see someone doing it, potentially save a life. And not only that, we don't want to risk our first responders either. That is a bad spot, and there has been countless number of people, so, yeah, please be smart. Councillor Rumbold.
Okay, I'm going to steal little snippets from the ones who've gone ahead of me. So, further to what Councillor Brumfield said about the Our Lady Queen of Peace, I just like to acknowledge Arlene Pittman and the other volunteers who've put this together, because any undertaking like this, we know in this community it's volunteer run, and people are giving of their time. So it would be great to see a nice turnout so that all their hard work pays off. To what Councillor Bennett said as far as the gardens, I see that Pie Farm has their strawberry U-Pick opening soon. So we are hearing fabulous things in this community about what Memorial and Pie Farm have done together. So anybody who hasn't gotten the opportunity to visit down on Mud Lake Road, I would encourage them to go out and, if all the rain has to have a benefit, if you can pick some nice fresh strawberries, that would be great. Always something for a family to do with their children. And then to what Councillor Winters said about the unsafe swimming, and it goes back to what he mentioned earlier about the motorized scooters, people without helmets. There are preventable tragedies. And July is actually, I wasn't going to mention this one, but July is actually Bereaved Parents Awareness Month. So as somebody who has lost a child, to anything that's preventable, make the kids wear the helmets. Tell them they can't leave the house without wearing the helmet. And I don't care if it doesn't look cool and messes up your hair. Don't let them swim. We can't stop them all the time, but anything that we can do. And our sign outside the town used to say, it takes a village to raise a child. If it's not your child, then you got to tell them, don't swim there. Tell them don't swim there, because we all need to get involved and just practice safety, because we don't want preventable tragedies. Just two other small things. Accessibility has been a topic in our community as of late. We've got some folks that are having challenges getting around. We as a town need to do better. I think we're going to make sure that we can clear the sand where possible. The infrastructure itself, unfortunately, the sidewalks are in disrepair, and we acknowledge that. And if we had an unending budget and we could snap our fingers and fix it tomorrow, we definitely would, because we do recognize the importance. And going forward, where we can allocate funds, we will. But I also ask that the business community join us in making sure that their businesses, anything that they can do to make them accessible to the residents of this town that have challenges. I encourage everybody to do their part, because we want to make sure that this town can be enjoyed by all residents. And the final thing I had is this Sunday, I believe the family of Paul Tibitus is having a celebration of his life at the Royal Canadian Legion, beginning at 3. As a former counselor, we did pay our respect in the lowering of the flags, but we just, it sounds like this is going to be a celebration of life. So encourage all residents to make an appearance at that event as well. And that is it for me. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks for sharing. And just for I'm out of town this weekend, but Deputy Mayor Wallace will attend on behalf of council. I think he was a 2-term councillor and included in some very feisty conversations around this table, and maybe even some desk smacking. But with Paul, it was always for the right reason. So that's good, and she'll attend for that. Speaking of which, good caveat, good segue into Deputy Mayor Wallace.
Hey, going last.
You'll be first next.
Yeah, right. Welcome to Our Lady Queen of Peace classmates. Obviously, the hard work and fruition of the organizing committee. You have Arlene Pittman, Dave Martin, Cheryl Keats, Rowena House. I think maybe one more I'm missing. Apologies. But the hard work that they've put in obviously will come to fruition this week in their celebrations. So everyone join in, especially Saturday. Get out there, Goose High School students as well, and wear your colors. Also, good luck to the coming up next month. Before we meet again, of course, the All-Star soccer teams will be on their way to the island. So all the fundraising they've had to do to head out to St. John's and surrounding, so mostly around the St. John's area. They've had to raise money and funds for that. So there's a lot of kids involved in those programs. So we wish you all the best of luck. Done.
No? Okay, you'll be first next time. I would, I've said for years, I'd like to, some group, like a COA or somebody, I'd like to know how much money gets captured in our community from a fundraising perspective.
Oh, wow.
It would be, I think, astronomical. And, for everything, hot dogs and stuff like that. Just one other thing I'd like to, just quick one on was it Sweaties?
Yeah.
Is it?
Oh, yes.
Okay, just saying that. So on that, there's a huge craft show, and Craft and Ella's partnered. Rowena House, of course, is a person who's from here, and now she heads that organization, and they're partnering with Arlene and Dave and the group to bring Come Home Craft NL to it. So it'll be a good craft sale as well as part of that whole process. So yeah, everybody get out and enjoy, and I'm sure there'll be tons of pictures and stories and stuff like that for the week. The action team is still ongoing. They seem to be, we're going to, I guess there's another session with the community in terms of the architect and stuff. So there'll be some more information flowing from that. The response team is working through a list of things. The response team now is the cabinet minister team. I was working through some issues and things like that, and checking some stuff off. So from that perspective, I just want to, everybody complains sometimes about different issues around town if they have a complaint. If you have a complaint, call the town office, 896-3321, and make sure you register the complaint. And the reason is, we can't do anything. If you pass somebody in the store or whatever, it gets filed away. But in actual fact, to make sure that something gets done or brings something to our attention, and is even, like I say, from from the swimming at the boardwalk perspective, call our enforcement line, which is 896-3322. And like I say, use those items because they are done, they're followed up, and then they come into committee for, like, you know, the sidewalk issue or from an accessibility. If there's sand on the street or sand somewhere, then, you know, our sand truck is out. But if there's somebody notes, cleaner's out. But if there's something out, then by all means, let us know. The other thing is I see our MEO back in the back there. Next month will be a concert in the park, and I don't know if our council meeting is prior to the show or not. So I just want to send a plug out to that. Lots of good stuff happening around over the next couple of weeks. So you know, hopefully, Councillor Brumfield will fix the weather, and we'll be able to enjoy it. Any staff have anything to bring before council before I proceed to close? Nothing? Everybody's good? Okay.
I'll go with me, Mayor, thank you.
All right. Okay, folks, so again, please slow down and protect our kids with the bikes and the scooters and stuff like that. So with that being said, then anybody else? Nobody? Everybody's good? Everybody's had their say? All right, so I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting. Okay, motion to adjourn. Meeting's adjourned. Made by Councillor Deputy Mayor Wallace. Motion. Meeting's adjourned again.
Thank you.
All right, guys.